Man, I'm getting fat. I'll swear I hit the gym next month, maybe make a video about it. Convert this channel into a fitness channel at some point, huh? Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to be talking about world building and how I approached it. A few years ago, I started my first attempt at writing a story. It was a simple story where our heroes just journey from point A to point B to deliver a lost baby to her parents. However, due to work, I wasn't able to really get far with it, and just last year, I finally started to take writing seriously. The problem was, I didn't know how to write. It was like learning a new set of skills from scratch, learning a new set of fundamentals. I felt like a baby learning how to crawl for the first time. I had a concept in my head at first, but then I started to draw without even writing much. I had that punch first, ask questions later kind of attitude. And naturally, this was a big mistake, and I ended up not liking my work at all. But this time around though, I wasn't about to give up. And so I actually sat down and tried to learn this skill. I watched a lot of Sandersons online and read a fair amount of books. But the most important thing is that I approached this with a new kind of mentality, the observing kind, learning and humbling myself to this new discipline. And man, has it been a journey ever since I started doing this. I knew I wanted to do something big. I wanted to create a world where stories can take place in, similar to Warhammer 40k. That universe doesn't just occupy a single story, but it is a universe where stories can take place in, if that makes sense. When you're world building, it's a good idea to understand what the world is about first. What is the overarching theme of the story? This way, you'll know what to write first. Focus writing on the agriculture, the livestock that exists in the world if your story is about a chef. Or if it's a sci-fi story, try writing about the machines, the organizations, or the city. Those things are highly relevant to the theme. But don't write 100 pages of the history of languages, but your story is about a fisherman. You can definitely do something like that, but maybe it's not the focus of the story. Those things are nice to know after the fact. For example, the story that I'm writing is based on journeying around this small world. So I focus more on regions, cultures, organizations, different kind of architecture and landscapes our characters are going to encounter. Especially because my medium is a visual medium, I thought those were the most important parts of my world. And then after that, I wrote about the currency, the flora and the fauna, and a bit of history that probably nobody is going to know about until I write about them later on. I might even get into languages. When I was a kid, I actually wrote my own language system that I used to remind myself of daily tasks that I didn't want others to know about. Honestly, I've forgotten most of it at this point, but I'm thinking of bringing it back for the story. World building is incredibly fun to fantasize about. I kind of lose myself sometimes just thinking about things around my world, In fact, I found myself no longer needing my phone to pass the time. Instead, I just stare at the ceiling like a crazy person, imagining what's possible in my world. World building can also seep into your characters, their personalities, and what they are like. Do they come from a world of prejudice? Is their region racist towards another region because of some dispute? For example, I have this organization called the Consejo de Señor, or the Council of the Señors. They are all well-beloved and well-respected individuals across the land, and they have provided hope and security for its people. But I'll get into character writing on another video. It doesn't just affect people, but also locations. World building can affect what the place will look like. Its history can dictate where a city or village will go. For example, let me just tell you about the world that I created, Raikishi. This is the final fortress of humanity, and it's protected by a powerful force field made out of divine lightning, a new element created by sacrificing 7 of the thunder gods. This force field is so powerful that not even the Dredge King himself dares to approach it. Raikishi is a region with a land area of 500,000 square kilometers. It's split up to 4 regions. Today I'm going to be talking about one of them, Lustania. Lustania is divided into 2 kingdoms, Montefacio and Astenan. I'll be talking mostly about Montefacio since that is where the majority of the earlier story takes place. So the Kingdom of Montefacio is based on medieval France, Spain, and all the chivalric era and medieval Europe. These are the lands of the nobles, the aristocrats, the dukes, the kings, and the queens. And everybody here is honor-bound by a very strict chivalric and religious code. Or at least that's what it would seem like from an outsider's perspective. But if you look closer, you'll see that there is massive corruption, fraud, and disorganization amongst everybody in the kingdom. That's because the king recently died, and out of despair, the queen handed power over to the nobles. They all have led the nation into a slow but ensured demise. While Astanan, on the other hand, is the land of the chieftains, the jarls, and the berserkers. Their capital is located on a secluded island far away from the mainland, but where the barrier can still reach them. Because of this, Astanan has a strategic location where they could launch sea-based expedition beyond the barrier. Their goal is to venture outside the barrier, beyond the sea, to the buffer lands. Both Montefacio and Astanan has a long and rich history with each other, forged in brotherhood and friendship. Their nation was founded by two brothers after all, though they're not without their struggles and their qualms. One of my locations, Virgil Village, is a jovial city, known for its food and ale. This is where my first story arc takes place in. This is because the people in this village have a history of hospitality. The people take care of each other, even if the government won't. Food makes everything feel great. They believe that you don't need a holiday or a special day to celebrate. And so most of the villagers don't actually go outside or travel much because it's already great where they come from. And because of this, the village in turn have grown larger than most villages in this region. And those who does travel are met with a grim reality that not every place is like Virgil. It is heavily inspired by the Tonbori in Japan, and I was thinking, what if I mix the two, right? A medieval Dotonbori Japan. I was actually there October last year, and my god, that place blew my mind. Very crowded, very touristy, but still amazing nevertheless. One of the few things that I will never forget and stop talking about on my travels to Japan. Virgil Village is also home to the local mercenary group called the Band of the Bears. Just a little bit south of Virgil Village is Virgil Keep. This is where the Duke lives and basically where all the government dealings is done. Further south of that is the Teethed Gate, commonly known as South Gate. This is basically a massive wall, epic in scale, and it's heavily inspired by the star fortresses in the 15th century. This gate is protected by the Consejo de Señores, 10 of Montefacio's most skilled and honored warriors, all of them well-beloved and respected across the land. This is also the main gate that the kingdoms of Rostania protects. Both of Astanan and Montefacio's forces can be seen here. This is a security measure just in case the barrier is breached, which hasn't happened ever since it was erected. Further east of the wall is Saint Marcia City. This is a trading city, and it's filled with fishermen and builders. It's also built near the edge of a cliff. Underneath that is the port of Saint Marcia, and it's basically a trading hub for both the kingdoms of Montefaccio and Astanan to trade. Unfortunately, the city is plagued with crime, and the number of missing people is on the rise every day. The Duke of the city cares very little of the situation, which raises suspicions amongst its people that there's a growing cult within the government. Mercenary groups are also allowed to exist within the kingdoms of Montefaccio, as long as they also answer to the government. These are just adventurers seeking fraternity amongst each other. This is just an overview of the world that I created, and in the future, I will explore more regions and other things too that you can find within the world. And I'm actually really excited to share with you my power system, which I'll cover that next, maybe. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.